broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
There's the chill music that we've been waiting for.
Very chill.
What's up, everyone? We are here for Defiance Season 3, Episode 10. We are getting closer and closer to the finale. Episode 10, When Twilight Dims the Sky Above. Before we get into all the fun of this episode, let's start with who you are.
Hi.
To my right.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jesse Klein. You can find me on Twitter at JessKlein1. That's JSSKlein, the number 1.
And that's true, because you are always number 1 to me, Jesse.
Thank you.
And you can find me on Twitter at SMAN80. That's SMAN80. You can also, follow along the conversation using hashtag ABTV Defiance, and definitely love to get everybody's comments there. Don't forget to subscribe to YouTube, to iTunes. Rate us, comment. We do read all the comments, even if we don't get a chance to respond to them all. We try to, but we definitely read them all. We appreciate everyone and your support, and also just helping us out too. Talking about all the different stuff going on. Sometimes we miss.
Yeah, and rating and commenting helps us get awesome guests like we had last week.
Yeah, having Billy call in, and hopefully we'll maybe have a couple more guests before the season ends. You never know. Yeah. So thank you so much for everyone for being able to. Be part of the conversation. So let's dive right into the episode. What are your overall thoughts of the episode?
I thought this was a good episode. I feel like this episode was more what I thought the last episode was going to be. It felt like a lot of setting up.
Yes.
Even though a lot happened and a lot of big things happened, it felt like it was a lot of setting the pieces for the season finale.
Yeah.
I think we kind of see like the lines that have been drawn. We kind of see the allegiances being made. I thought it was good. It introduced some characters that I really liked.
Yeah.
And it brought back a character that I'm happy to see back. With an upgrade, super arm day tag.
Yeah,
right. I thought it was okay. It wasn't the best episode of the season, but I thought it did a good job, and I thought Grant, the guy who plays Nolan, did a really good job of playing a schizophrenic person. I thought he put on a really good clinic today.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would agree, and sort of like what you were saying is, even though it necessarily wasn't my favorite episode, it did a really good job setting up a lot of stuff, and it's kept with this theme throughout the season of just keeping this action going, and it just feels, even when things are a little bit slower, there's still that backdrop of some crazy stuff going on. And we're just kind of keeping that same tempo throughout, which is a lot of fun, and adding all these different layers with the characters, and it's just been a lot of fun. Like, it's just been a very exciting season. So I'm really excited to see how we're going to continue with these last episodes. These
last few episodes seems like they're going to be crazy. Like, it does not seem like last season. It felt like there were a couple episodes where it felt like they kind of took their foot off the gas. They kind of reset the chessboard, allowed us to kind of catch up to what's going on. This season, it feels like it's pedal to the metal. They're just going as fast as they can, hitting as hard as they can. It's really exciting to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely been a really fun season. So I guess we'll just jump right into of this episode, and like you were saying, kind of when we first open this episode, it goes back to 12 hours earlier, which I thought was an interesting kind of setup as well. Yeah. Because we've used the flashback a lot this season, and now we're using just a little slight, like, let's go back in the past 12 hours, and we see them at the need want. And, no one's been taking the bottle pretty heavy lately. Yeah. Kind of quell his pain.
Well, it's the 12 hours earlier is them in, like, the alley. And like him, Nolan being like Butch Cassidy and Sundance, that kind of thing. And I think it's a cool kind of device to use to like kind of build the tension. You know something's going to happen in that episode that's going to make Nolan and Erisa be chased down an alleyway. But yeah, Nolan definitely dealing with his demons this entire episode, and I think it was a good character episode for Nolan.
Yeah, really, really good. I keep feeling like I kind of jokingly tease about the Emmy moments, but like with his speeches and everything. But this was another one of those moments. Now, did you think at the beginning that was a figment of his imagination when that guy was there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so did I. Okay, I just want to make sure, because I did at first, and then I kind of, at first I was like, okay, it's totally in his mind.
Yeah.
Because of the way they, had the camera, you don't see his face and everything, but it was so good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a trope. It's something that we've seen a lot. Not necessarily in sci-fi, but a lot of times with like people dealing with PTSD and that kind of stuff. So I don't think they were really trying to hide that it was Nolan. I think by the end you're like, oh, that's the Butcher speaking to him.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you have subtitles on, it just says the Butcher.
And I do have the subtitles on too, just so I can follow along with everything, especially on what they're saying. But yes, I agree. I don't think they were trying to hide it, but I liked it. I liked it from the very beginning with that opening, where it would take me a second to be like, oh wait, no, that's just the figment of his imagination there, and he's been heavily drinking, and he's in a lot of pain right now, and his character is dealing with a lot.
Yeah, well,
and this is how he's dealing with it.
I think this episode really hit on the head a theme that they've been pushing this entire season, which is external danger versus internal danger. Originally we had Erisa and her battle with her guilt over killing, and that episode where we got to see them go into each other's minds and flashback. And now we've got Nolan, who is stuck in this kind of loop and has an internal danger that he's dealing with, and to a lesser extent, but still a big extent, Doc does not have her mind still. She's under control of Kenzie, which we find out in this episode is disastrous. But I think a lot of this season has been like this fight between like the external and internal dangers. And I think they kind of let us off the hook with the external dangers last episode, where it's like, everything's fine, and we kind of forgot about the fact that Nolan's dealing with got this stuff going on with the indigene stuff in his brain, and like
the arc brain,
right.
No, I think you bring up a good point, because it's true. They have had the internal struggles that these characters have had to deal with.
Yeah.
And now we're really seeing that with Nolan after everything that happened with the shootout and everything with the VC, and he's still coming to terms with that, and he's still dealing with that. And like you said, you throw in that arc brain in there, and you're throwing in the drinking, and it's just a recipe for what ends up being sort of quite a disaster here. Yeah. Because we were on pretty good footing for this episode, thinking like, wow, some really good stuff could be happening, but you knew something was going to happen to mess it all up.
Yeah,
couldn't have been that perfect and that easy and that good. Not in any TV world, but definitely not in Defiance.
So. Yeah, nothing's never easy in Defiance.
But I really did love that opening scene, though. Even when he spills the bottle and Stama and Tevgen notice, and it's like, it was just a very good scene to kind of show exactly where his state of mind is.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really good. And it was also, I even enjoyed that scene with Tevgen and Stama as well.
It was a very interesting kind of again, I feel like Tevgen is being pushed one way very quickly,
right?
And I think it's just a case that the the season is ending,
right? And so you don't have the time to flesh out an actual,
because he's acting very much like a schoolboy, and he's like, so I set up this date with you and me and all my family, and it's in Australia, and like you can come and you can bring your kid and your grandson. Right. I don't see why you're saying no to this.
I know, it was so funny. It was like that little first love thing, like let's go move in together right away, and on the other side of the country, we'll make it work. Yeah, and Stama being very like respecting, and you can see that she
like basically Tevgen, her time with Tevgen was mostly her being attacked by Kenzie, and you can understand her, you know, like not having warm feelings towards Tevgen.
And I think also she still has a connection to Defiance as well.
Yeah, it is her home.
You know, it is her home now, and I think the interesting thing about this relationship is that it does reflect a lot on like real world situations where, you know, the boyfriend's moving across country and it's like, okay, do you uproot and move too? How serious are we going to be? What are we doing? So it's something that everyone kind of deals with at some point or another if they have a relationship where someone's going to move away. And so I thought it was kind of cute. I also love that she was still being shunned by the town, because I when she had walked out in the town, I was hoping, like, okay, I still want her to sort of be shunned because people aren't really liking her, so I'm glad that they kept that in there.
Yeah, me too.
Because that is an important thing. The rest of the town is
She's a traitor.
She's very upset with her.
Yeah.
So I like that, and little Tevgen coming to her defense.
Yeah. I like how he's like, I got these to brighten up your home, and they're black flowers. Yeah. I was like, man, those tars and their weird black and white aesthetic, man. I think Stama had a very interesting arc this entire episode. I think Stama, she's so different than she was last season. Like last season, it was all about her taking control and becoming powerful and using that power, and, you know, Daytak being surprised by how powerful is like that kind of stuff. And this season she has been like so on the wrong side of victimized this entire season. And I kind of feel like I like Stama like my favorite type of Stama is Stama who's like manipulating people.
Me too.
And
the
like
scheming
and intimidating people.
It's so fun to watch her do that.
And like Daytak is an unsatisfying, or not Daytak, Tevgen is an unsatisfying foil for her, because every one of her schemes, like he's like, your false praises do not fall upon me. And it's like, okay, well, I guess that's over. That's no fun. Like I want Stama to be with like a dumb guy who's just like rushing in to do, like that's the type of Stama I like. Like I don't necessarily enjoy her and Tevgen's relationship because it's so far one-sided that, and it like she's physically outmatched, she's mentally outmatched, she's socially outmatched. Like it's so far to one side that it's less interesting to see Stama in that situation than like last season when she's like manipulating the gangs and you know, manipulating Alek and Daytak and all that kind of stuff. I thought it was a more interesting Stama.
I agree with you, and even going back to season 1, like it's delicious to watch her when she's at her best scheming and her best kind of like dark and evil. But on the flip side, I have enjoyed watching this humanizing, or I guess alienizing, I don't know what you'd call it, for aliens as you will, just kind of see her brought down a little bit and kind of see more of this gray area to her character, because you kind of see that other side. And I think what has been really great about this season is we've seen that with all of our lead characters. We've seen more of that gray area, and that they're not just good, they're not just bad, and we've been able to kind of flesh out their characters a little more. So I have enjoyed that, but I agree, if I was to take either any Stama, it would be the scheming one, because it's very fun to watch her, and she's so good at getting that type of emotion out in that character. It's so fun to watch that.
Yeah, and by the way, I know this is not the way this season is going, but SyFy, I would totally watch a side show that's just Omex farming out in Australia.
I know, right?
Like just like
make it happen. Do a website to it. I want to see them all out there. Yeah,
see what the Omex would do in Australia.
Right, exactly. Yes, that would be great. I would love to see that too.
Yeah.
And also what Australia looks like in this world too.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's probably like lush.
Right, exactly. Yeah. All we heard is that it's really far away. I loved when Stum was describing it. You know?
Yeah.
No, it's really far.
Yeah.
Never been, but it's really, really far away.
It's very far away.
It is very far away. I mean, I can't believe how far away it is.
He just traveled through space. Like, it's technically, like, to him, it's not that far away.
For him, it's just, around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we get introduced to some really interesting new characters. We get Chancellor Vosk, Solara.
Yeah, Solara,
who I thought was a really interesting character. I was digging her. I was like, awesome. The daughter of like a hero in the VC.
Yeah.
These VC soldiers coming in, and it's like. I like the part where it's like you just let them in. It's like our nets are down.
Yeah.
Like what was I supposed to do?
I know. And he says that to Amanda. I know that was great. And I love the way they pulled up and they're like official cars.
Yeah.
The black SUVs.
Very government.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great.
It made me kind of miss the E-Rep days last season.
Exactly.
A lot. Like and just like seeing these government people come out, and I was like, oh yeah, the VC they're not just like murdering people. They are they are a collective. Yeah.
And it was fun to watch, and I loved her character.
Yeah.
I loved her backstory, and again, we just get to kind of fill in these gaps of learning more about the sort of the history of this world and how it came to be. And so I'm really enjoying getting to know more of that.
She's terraformed.
Yeah, she's there.
Yeah. And like proposes, like she brings Daytak thinking that like everyone's gonna be super happy to see him, because
and I did love that opening when they gets out of the car. That's like her with Sturge, you know, and then all of a sudden, surprise, there's Daytak with his bio arm. You know, that was a really fun little opening there.
And seeing Stama so happy to see Daytak and like running, it was very nice.
Yeah.
And that one look that Tevgen had when he was just like so bummed.
He was so upset, right?
He was really bummed.
Right.
But yeah, these new characters really cool. Proposing an alliance with Defiance. I was like, okay, we're gonna get some new characters.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a bigger, like, this is gonna be some fun tension between like the VC government versus the Defiance like setup that's going on, and Nolan is off his rocker.
Right. He is from as we saw the very beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
But I liked her because at first I wasn't sure if she was scheming or what her thing was, but I really liked she was just very level-headed. I thought it was funny when she and Amanda kicked all the boys out, and it was just girl time, and they were talking, and they had a really good conversation, and you really think like, wow, like maybe some really cool stuff is going to happen now, this alliance.
Yeah, and this was a case of like I thought they did a good job of showing viewer knowledge versus character knowledge, because I was like, oh, they're just never going to address the fact that Ramtak was rogue,
right?
And they did, and it became a very like it was a big deal, and like her seeing that the VC, they thought that they were at war directly with the VC, and it turns out it was just like a small group.
Exactly.
Seeing Amanda realize that was a really interesting moment, that it was like, oh man, we were almost brought down by a very small amount of the VC. Yeah,
and you're right though that it was good they said that, because I liked that they had mentioned that too, because the viewers knew that, but technically Amanda didn't know that.
Yeah, she had no
it
idea.
really was just a little offshoot. It wasn't the actual VC, and the VC condoned it, and it was great for her to be able to say that, so everyone knew that they were on the same page there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was funny that how she wanted to offer them the works, to get the piece.
Yeah, you get some Gulenite trading.
Right.
You get some people there that represent the VC, some defense systems. All of it sounded great. Things were looking real good. There's one catch though. One
big catch.
One very, very big small catch.
Yeah.
And that was you got to have Tevgen come to this party that they were going to be like celebrating the peace between the two factions.
Yeah, it kind of felt like to me like the White House state dinner type of thing, like for this town. It was like, okay, let's get everybody together, all the big wigs of the town, and have a fancy dinner.
Everyone had to have a date. Like that, like why was Daytak there with like the
with Andina? Yeah.
With Andina,
yeah.
I was like, your wife is here.
Right.
Like, why are you with Andina? I was like, I didn't want to show up without a date.
Right. That was so funny. And Amanda got her coffee.
Yeah, Amanda got her coffee.
Which I thought was interesting because, that was my other thing, which I meant to ask Billy last week when the VC, when Rom talking and everything, they're making coffee, but somehow Amanda has not had coffee since, she was a kid.
Coffee's from South America.
I know, but it was still surprising to me that they actually had their own stuff. But that was a funny little moment, too, when Solara's like, oh yeah, we bring a bag of beans with us wherever we go, kind of thing. That was great.
Humans love it.
So true.
And we kind of get a brief moment where Erisa visits Doc to kind of see, like, she's like, hey, Nolan's acting crazy beans right now. Do you have anything for him? And we see Doc working on something and, like, talking to herself, and she, like, tries to remove it, but she can't. And again, it's like this fight, like, it's a danger, like, if it's someone outside, if it's outside yourself, it's something that you can at least physically know what's going on, but what's inside, it's a much more scary danger.
Absolutely.
Like, she's doing stuff that is against her interest, just like Nolan is doing stuff that's against his interest. And it's just like this thing that she could, like, pull it out if she wanted to, but she can't because she doesn't want to, because her brain is telling her serve Kenzie.
Exactly. I mean, it's sort of what you were saying earlier, and it's so true. It's the internal struggles are more intense and worse than what's happening externally.
Yeah.
As we clearly saw on the big picture of this overarch of this episode.
Yeah. And so then we see this really, really cool interaction between Tevgen and Stama, where she has to go tell Tevgen, like, please attend this. Also, I'm not coming with you to Australia. I'm not going to the winter formal with you. I'm sorry, Tevgen. My husband is back.
Right. I like someone else.
And he's like real pissed and angry. He flips a table. So many tables get flipped in Defiance. If you work as a carpenter and you make tables, you're the wealthiest person in Defiance.
That's true. I just say their nickname is the table flipping capital of I don't know, the world, the planets,
whatever's left.
Whatever's left. The EREP.
And
that's their slogan for their state.
He's upset. He has this thing where he's like, you're my prey. I'm a predator. And she finally talks him down and is like, hey man, like, you're the one who said that you didn't belong in this world
this is not really you, and you are above this now. And again, I've enjoyed the speeches. Some people may say they're corny and cheesy, but I've enjoyed them this season because I think they've been really fun, and
I think they work for the show.
They work for the show very well, and I've really enjoyed them, and she had a really good speech, and she calmed him down and convinced him to make this sort of historic deal of coming together with the EREP.
So he puts on his most formal turban.
Yes.
And shows up.
Night out in the town.
Shows up to the lamest party. If I was at this party, I would have been like, that party was lame.
Right.
Because Kenzie shows up, and here's the thing that I really liked about the show. They just showed Doc communicating with the ship.
Yes.
And then Kenzie shows up.
Yeah.
She's wearing formal attire. Yeah. She knows about the party.
Right.
We didn't need to see that as an audience.
No, we didn't, because that was just taking time out of it. We understood, that short thing when she was when Docia was communicating with the ship. We knew she was going to be able to. She came out. We saw that she was waking up. So we're like, okay, we can fill the gaps with that and understand that she figured out about the party. Yeah,
we didn't have to see all the logistics of Kenzie finding out about the party and then being like, oh, where's my best dress to bring to this party? And it's like we didn't need it.
Crap, I have to go back to the ship to get the dress. Thank God Tevgen left me a note on the table saying he was going to the party. He'll be back by 10.
Yeah. She shows up and she's like, let's eat everyone.
Right. She's hungry.
Let's eat everyone at this party.
I've been there before, though, so I get it.
You've been at a party and been like, let's eat it.
I'm hungry, yeah. I get to the party, I've had a long day, and I'm like, you know what, everyone looks pretty tasty right now. So I understand where she's coming from.
That's what happens when you party with gingerbread men. You want to eat everyone.
That's right.
Where's all the milk?
And that's only parties I can go to.
You have no human friends.
Just me and my gingerbread men.
So Kenzie's there. She's like, let's eat everyone. And Tevgen is, number one, surprised. Number two, real angry. And he's like, oh, the Indigene let you out. Why doesn't Tevgen, he knows that she's working for him because of the thing. Why doesn't he just,
exactly
out of her neck?
Yeah.
Get rid of this person who is obviously a threat. If you take that out, Doc's gonna be pissed.
No, it's exactly.
It
seemed like that would be an easy resolution though too.
and it was very tense. At the same time, Nolan's beating up people.
Yeah, Nolan ends up upstaging even Kinsey, which I didn't think that was going to be possible.
Searching through the room and finds a satchel, and I like that they did the old switcheroo.
Yeah,
which they usually again, it's something that happens a lot of times when someone's hallucinating. Is like they'll be like, here's a thing that you don't think is a hallucination, but it was the entire time.
Yeah.
And so like he finds the blasting caps and the thing, and he's like, it's a bomb threat, and goes in and sees thinks that Solara has a gun and shoots her. She does not. Her gun is a gun of peace.
Right.
Peace and prosperity to Earth. Peace on Earth.
To all.
Yeah.
Man and alien kind.
Yeah. That was a real bummer. I yelled. I was like, no!
I know.
I was like, hey, shot her in the shoulder. Maybe she's alive. That was my first thought. I was like, maybe she's alive. She was not.
No.
She died.
She died. Yep.
Nolan and Erisa were on the run.
Yeah, they're on the lam now.
Daytak has a really brief moment with Amanda where he's like, you're going to want to protect Nolan. That's the wrong move. It's like, and it's true. Like, her dad was famous for getting assassinated by a human. She just got killed by a human. She was like the person who was on mankind's side. She wanted to protect Defiance. She wanted to be there and kind of bridge this peace with them. And Nolan shot her in the chest.
Yep.
Man, that was a real bummer.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah. And then, obviously, I guess she lived up to her destiny. Kept with the family tradition there. But, yeah, I did the same thing as you. I was like, no, because we just got introduced to this character. I thought, wow, we're going to I thought it was going to be a whole other thing where, again, like, she wasn't going to be killed. Yeah. But the E-Rep were going to be pissed anyways, thinking, okay. And they were going to be pissed at Defiance. And it was going to start a whole thing. And they were going to take back their offer. And it was going to be messy.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought these were characters like that we were going to see kind of progress for the rest of the season. Right. See like the VC in Defiance. I thought it was going to be kind of like an interesting end to the season where it wasn't necessarily going to be as violent as the rest of the season. That it was going to be like this interesting transition time where the VC and Defiance have become allies. I was wrong.
No, again, I have too, because it's moved so much faster and been so action-packed this season, because I still thought the same thing with Rom. I thought that was going to be drawn out a lot more, and that ended up so neatly, and then moving on, and then having this, and then, oh my gosh, now he killed her, and now he's in trouble, and now he's on the run. I mean, I was not expecting all these other little big, well, I should say little, but big action-packed things to occur. At the same time, we still have the overall thing with the OMAC.
Yeah.
Which is still kind of sitting out there.
I honestly didn't think we were going to see Daytak till the season finale.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah.
I knew he was alive, but I didn't think we were going to see him that quickly.
Yeah. And his gross arm.
Yeah.
His weird arm.
Which was fun with that whole lovemaking scene with him and Stomp. I'm like, oh, and the creepy arm.
And the creepy arm. Yeah, they've really been progressing it, and the OMEC threat feels very... I was surprised. I thought Kenzie was going to come down with like 20 OMEC. And like just have a feeding, like a harvest, as they call it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was going to happen when I saw her. Is that she was going to come in and she was the one that was going to disrupt the whole party and ruin the chance for peace. And so I knew, obviously, we were watching this and we knew no one had his issues, but I didn't think it was going to go to that point. I thought Kinsey was going to be the one to kind of upstage the party, and then let alone it ended up being him. Yeah,
and then we see her. Tevgen goes to confront her, and Doc Yule is great when she's on our side and great when she's on their side, because she rewrote the drones, and Kenzie now has Tevgen in the same position that she was in last episode.
So now she has the power, and there's this mutiny here.
It's like, so it's mutiny.
Right, and it's true, because now she has the upper hand, and she can theoretically now control the OMAC, and so it's amazing to see how everything is changing and going so fast in this season. I'm like, okay, wow.
And Kenzie is she's ready to eat everyone. It seems like she's ready for a grand harvest.
Yep.
and she wants to start with Stama.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the episode, I was like, I can't believe it's over.
I know.
Like so many things happened in the last thing, and it ended with "It Makes No Difference," which is a song that is from one of my favorite bands, called The Band.
Yeah, they've had good music.
Yeah, it was.
They've really increased that music budget, and I have said that from the beginning, but it's true because from starting out from the first season, better music.
Yeah.
More of it. Not the cheesy stuff that we're starting out with in season 1. I was like, oh god, this is really bad.
It's where all that money that would have been into the arc blowing up,
graphics went to the music instead.
I'm okay with it.
But yeah, right. But it was like really kind of intense there because now Erisa and Nolan are on the run.
Well, not on the run. They're captured.
Well, I mean captured, but they're. I mean that's what I meant is that they're captured now, and that they're going to have to try to escape, and they're in trouble. Yeah, they're going down to Brazil.
They're on their way to Brazil
for court.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, that's opening up a whole other world that I was not expecting to happen. So they're going to be in Brasilia. So we're going to have to see what's going to happen with that. No, I know Amanda wants to see that she can get out, so that they can get out and go off to Antarctica.
She gave her money to bribe them so that they could go to Antarctica.
Exactly. Which I'm still wondering too. What is this Antarctica like? Is it really what they think it is, or is it still the ice cold, crazy deserted place?
I mean, either way, it's a good place to run to.
It is, but it's fascinating to me because again, that's sort of been the beginning from season 1. Is like their whole plan was to go to Antarctica, and it's like, oh, it looked like the tropical beach and everything. So I'm fascinated. I'm wondering how this is all going to play out now.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on, and we have
a lot of pieces set up.
4 episodes left.
Yeah. 4 episodes.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3. Gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I guess go on to predictions.
Yeah. Should we do it?
Yeah, let's
predictions.
do it.
Predictions. All right.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Okay.
Predict something.
Okay, predict something. Okay, well, here's the thing. So we saw the preview for the next episode. We see that Kenzie seems to steal Nolan, and Berlin seems to find Erisa in the... So they don't make it to Brazil. We said that for the people who don't like to listen to predictions. We know they're out there.
Right.
We said it. Now we're here talking about it.
Right.
They're not going to Brazil.
It's true. Although it would have been great to see that.
I really wanted to see Brazil.
I really want to see that, just like I want to see Antarctica, but I guess I'm going to have to wait.
I thought if next season, like, the entire show was split between 2 storylines, Brazil and Defiance, I thought that would have been very interesting.
I think so. It would have been great. Because I want to see how that world will look, too, because I'm still so fascinated about the rest of the world now. Yeah. And we saw little bits and pieces of it in last season, but yeah.
Regardless,
yes.
Defiance has no law keepers now. I'm going to say... I've been saying it for a while. I'm going to say Alec becomes the law keeper.
I agree with you on that one for sure, because he's been kind of stepping into that role a little bit.
And I'm going to say I think the season ends with a showdown between the VC and the OMEC.
Yes.
I think, I don't know if it's like 5 OMEC are worth 100 VC, but I feel like it's...
what's the ratio there?
I don't know what the rate, but I think that's how it ends. I think especially if the person who killed Chancellor Vosk is now with the OMEC, that's basically a declaration of war for the VC.
Right.
And I think Defiance is going to be kind of stuck in the middle trying to protect their own.
Absolutely. And people will pick sides. But I do think, and I just was wrong on the battle, but the OMEC are going to have to come in and protect Defiance. And that's what I'm still expecting that Tevkin's somehow going to be able to get out at the last second. But
I think the VC are going to come and protect Defiance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that just depends how far we're without Tevkin.
Yeah.
Because Tevkin would be the one that would come in, but I still felt like, depending on how it all plays out, that they were going to come in and they were going to align with Defiance. But it's going to be interesting to see how long we have to wait without him and how much power Kinsey ends up holding on to.
And if Kenzie does die, I think it's Doc Yule and Stama who kill her. Just because that has so much pathos. And
Yeah, absolutely.
yes. They need to get rid of her.
Yes, absolutely. It has to be them. But I still wonder if, I still want to see a fling again with an actual fling with Nolan and
I don't think Nolan is interested in her at all. I think maybe she'll put in like a control thing in his brain.
No, I mean he's too not there right now, but I would still like to see that. That would be cool. A little hot Omek human love action.
Some purple and human love. Yeah, sure.
Some purple and pink.
Yeah, sure. There you go. Awesome.
Yeah, there's so much, and obviously I want to see how it's going to play out with Berlin too. And,
because we
Conrad, like what's happened with that.
We see that. I mean, that might be a turning point. If Conrad donates a bunch of weapons to Defiance's cause, maybe they're not as hobbled as we thought they were.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating because they've taken us in so many different directions this season that I was not expecting, that now I really have no idea how they're going to try to wrap up these 3 episodes.
Yeah, and Daytak now has a super arm.
Yeah.
So he might be able to fight off an Omek.
Arm, Is it strong enough to defeat some Omek?
Yeah. Maybe.
Lots of good stuff.
He's got that vibro blade too.
I know. Good stuff.
He's good, yeah.
It's good to go.
Awesome.
I'd want him on my side.
Yeah,
at this point.
He's a cockroach. You can't kill him.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's like Cher.
He's like Cher or a cockroach. You heard it here, folks. Cher is half-breed. She's half cockroach.
That's right. They always say it's going to be her and the cockroaches at the nuclear war. So
awesome.
Survive that. All right, so in the meantime, until next week, where can they find you?
You can find me at JessKlein1. That's JessKlein, the number 1 on Twitter.
Awesome, and you can find me on Twitter at SMan80, that's SMan80, and again, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and iTunes and SoundCloud, and join the conversation on Twitter at #ABTVDefiance. Until next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.